about coming up with a plan so that labor will go and plant tobacco, and the landowners can group together so that we can create industrial farm to grow corn, to grow rice. Industrial crops cannot compete against peasant grown. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. No equation can make it work. So we're here. I'm just here to just reiterate on the plight of our farmers. I'm providing them a vision of better livelihoods. We can grow more tobacco. We have demand from export, but I see our domestic the usage going down. Again, being responsible with everybody, but it's the illicit trade that's really killing us. They pay no taxes. They steal our health money, and they don't create local jobs. Most of the imported, the illicit cigarettes use tobacco from overseas also. So we don't get any benefit of that as well. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you for that. We're also joined by Mr. Wally Chamsi. I believe this is for VIPs, no? Yeah, for VIPs. So, yes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. I'm not going to repeat a lot of the points that were already raised by many of the people in this table here, but a few things I wanted to just point out. The first thing, while it's very easy for a lot of health professionals to come forward and talk about raising taxes will solve the problem, there simply is no empirical data to show that. I think our friends from Australia already said that every time you raise tax, I mean, you've heard the price differentials already that we're facing in the local industry. The local product is so cheap, and the legal product is almost 3 to 4 times more expensive. Increasing the prices will make this 8 to 10 times more expensive than the local product, and it's not going to stop the local product. So I think enforcement is a very, very big item that really needs to be brought forward. I think if people can recognize this, I mean, if there are no illicit products, that's where all your youth vaping is coming from. That's where all the youth smoking is coming from. You think some 12-year-old kid can afford an 800 peso device? No, he's going to buy the cheap 200, 300 peso device. That's where all of it is coming from. So that's the first point I'd like to make. The second point I'd also like to make is that there has to be a basis on the rate that you're giving us. You cannot arbitrarily double and say, oh, since 1 ml is equivalent to so much and is equivalent to a pack of cigarettes, we're going to charge you this much per ml. Because we have other costs that aren't associated to the industry. For example, we have very expensive device costs. A device would hit you $3 to $4 per device. So how do you compensate for that loss? Our retail price is already way, way higher than cigarettes, as you've heard from earlier. So you simply cannot sort of like create a arbitrage rate and just say, eto na yan. Final thing I'd like to raise is, it's a little bit more personal. Prior to distributing vape, I used to head distribution for British American Tobacco. And one of the reasons why we actually switched to vape is that in our early discussions, when everyone was still new, one of the things that the people at British American Tobacco said was that we're looking at harm reduction products for the future. And they've spent millions and millions of dollars proving that there is a basis to harm reduction. Now, it might not be perfect, but I can assure you there's an enormous body of evidence to refute everything that was raised here. So what I'd like to say is this. As you know, 2 years ago, Rishi Sunak, Prime Minister of the UK, decided that his country would take an experiment. They would give away 1 million devices a year up to 2030. And he said, when this happens, by 2030, people will stop smoking. They will switch over to healthier alternatives. What if he's right? Can we actually afford to miss out on this opportunity today. So these are three things I'd like to raise. Thank you.
Mr. Chamsi. You mentioned earlier the tax rate, no? In the proposal here in the House, their proposal is to raise it to have a unitary tax rate at 66.15 per milliliter for both nicotine salt and freebase, no? This is the unitary proposal.
Yes.
Any comments on that?
It would be better if we could get 30. I think 30 would make the economics for us work so that we don't have to raise very much higher than what we have today. And I think if we can go on 30, you will get a more robust legal industry and people willing to pay taxes for better product. The illicit products are unregulated and they are, it's somebody cooking this stuff in his kitchen. The foreign products are subjected to so much inspection and so much regulation that you can safely say that the foreign products subjected to all, we have 3 different inspections for the products that come in. They're at least 50 times safer than the local stuff being made today. So everything, I think, will improve if we can just lower, at least be more considerate on the tax rate. So a 50% cut on that rate would be workable for us.
The 66.15 is from the nicotine salt.
Yes.
And then we're just applying it to freebase on the same
I understand.
basis.
I understand.
Yeah.
The reason why nobody use salt nic in their product is that it makes the product too expensive. So if we could find a middle ground somewhere that we can find a compromise between an increase in prices.
But that in effect will lower down freebase nicotine salt by half. Because right now it's already 66.15.
I have no idea how the two got split up and one was given a higher tax rate and one was given a lower tax rate.
It's the concentration of nicotine.
That's the basis.
That's the basis in the past.
I think that if you can lower the I guess, well, not really lower. I guess if you can apply a uniform rate based on a 30 peso base, you would probably have less incentive for people who are bringing illegal product rather than raising it now. Because when you raise it, a legal product, a 10 ml device, one of those that you have there, the tax alone would already be 660 pesos, right? That's the retail price today. So you're talking about prices going up to 1,000. Now, great if we can stop the illegal product. If we can't stop it, you've heard that they're selling it at retail at 300 pesos. That's 300 to 1,000. It's very, very difficult to compete. Pwede pang kalahati. Kung sabi mo 500 is the legal product and the illegal is 300. Some people will say, I'll go for the legal product. But if the price disparity is so great, people will go for the illegal product.
I understand earlier that what's happening on the ground, no, based from the discussion earlier, is because devices and products are disguised as freebase because of the cheaper tax rate, but it's actually being sold as nicotine salt. So that's what we're trying to address.
Sorry, I understand. That's
the arbitrage that we're trying to address because of the difference.
Here is what you need to see. All the legal product, and you've heard, because all the people who bring in product legally will bring in freebase simply because the tax is cheaper, right? And all the illegal product now is salt nic. And the illegal product, everyone always asks, why is there such a big disparity between the legal And actually, it's not the price.